Kiss Army. It's time to drop the needle, kiss my wax.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 7, is that right? 7 of Kiss My Wax. Yeah. I'm starting to lose track and I don't have any notes. So hopefully you all have seen the double platinum episode that we just posted up a couple of days ago. And
a day early at that.
A day early, yeah, as a special surprise. So again, we appreciate everybody's support so far. And we're going to keep churning these things out. This week, we're going to tackle Destroyer. And tacked onto this, we have just interviewed James Campion, who wrote Shout It Out Loud. So stick around to the end of the episode. There's a great interview with James talking about his books, some great Ezrin stories, some great Ken Kelly stories, some great Dick Wagner stories. You will want to stick around and watch that whole interview. It was fantastic, and we appreciate James coming on. And you know, we couldn't be happier with how that turned out. So today we're going to talk about Destroyer. First of all, does anybody have anything to open up?
Well, I have stuff to show. I can't open it. I was in my local record store the other day, and I got. Well, I mean, you can't really tell by the cover. But,
yeah. I got Creatures of the Night. Woo!
Again, but I got the glow pressing.
Woo!
Cool.
So I found that at one of these local exchange stores here, and awesome. Was able to get that. And I just, you know what, I was looking through, and I was trying to get albums that I have doubles of inserts for. So I had like a couple albums in my hand, and then I just kind of looked, and it said there was a price tag. There was down the corner. It says, glow in the dark one. And I go, damn, I want that. So I picked that up, and then
did you get it for a good price?
Yes.
Good.
Yes. I think when I was originally looking for both of them, I saw both of them on eBay for $99 and $150, and I'm not going to say what I paid for both of them. My picture disc and that one, but I spent less than $100 on both of them.
Great.
Good deal.
So, and then I got the Camel, the Filmwork pressing of Alive.
You bought a Camel?
Well, I bought the Filmwork. I had a Camel. So this is the Filmwork pressing. So, and it's got the book in there. So. Yeah, you
bought
guys.
A Camel.
Yeah. I'm not gonna subject our listeners to what I tell you guys in the private chats, but just what I said in the last chat. That's what I want to say right now.
I understand.
So, and it's got the book.
Back to your creatures.
Uh-huh.
If you guys remember when we did the episode on that, we were sitting there giving the catalog numbers,
yes.
And we were noting how, hey, man, both these catalog numbers on the jackets are the same.
Mm-hmm.
On mine and Jason's. Well, we found out since then that there's no rhyme or reason to those catalog covers, okay, or the cover catalog numbers. So they apparently were putting them on whatever happened to come out. So even though the picture disc has got a different catalog number at the bottom of it than the glow in the dark does, they may have I don't know which jacket is which anymore. I'm so confused.
Right.
But basically, there is no correct. What's your say, Andrew?
Hold on. I'm going to pull out both of them because I got them both. All right. Yeah. So my picture disc, the catalog number on here, 422824.
No, that's for the glow in the dark. That's for the glow in the dark.
They're both exactly the same.
There you go. And so are mine and Jason's. And if you pull that picture disc out, that picture disc starts with a 3.
Does anybody have?
Yes.
Oh yeah. There are people that are showing both of theirs, the glow in the dark and the picture disc, have both got the jacket that starts with a 3. There are some that have the correct ones. So yeah, I'm not worrying that mine are off. Just
right.
One of them's off.
I'm not worried about that either because this company they went bankrupt. Probably from this, right?
That may be why. Well, that was the last thing they put out. Talking about your bad timing. If they'd have waited 6 months.
My God.
And there's a reunion and if that.
6 months and they would have been, they probably would have started doing all of the albums.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, if Universal would have, released those licenses at that point in time because they probably saw, they were just getting ready to do those, the remastered CDs and all that stuff.
I saw. I wonder why. I wonder why it was only because they did what? They did Revenge, Alive 3,
Alive 3,
and Creatures. Right?
They did it. They did it because Universal wasn't pressing vinyl.
Right.
And they said, "Hey, we'll do it," and they took the money.
That's right.
That's, it's that simple.
That's exactly what they did. It's that simple. Yeah.
They took the money and ran.
They took the money and ran. I've got one thing to open. It's nothing. It's nothing special, but since a couple of people have commented that they really like when we open actual packages, I saved this to open. It's, like I said, nothing special. It's just a promo copy. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a promo copy of World Without Heroes.
Yeah.
So
that looks like mine. There's also a version of that, Jason, that says, and I've never seen another Kiss single like it, the promotional marking is across the top of the label.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Never played it. Doesn't look like it. So anyway.
Well, that's not surprising.
That's a good point. And something else that I've recently gotten, I've been trying to collect all of these picture discs, all these Dutch picture discs. So
cool.
I did get Killers. Did I show that last time?
Yeah, I need to get that.
I did get Killer. Oh yeah, you're the Killers guy. That's right.
Yeah.
So I did get Killers, and a good friend on the page just sold me Rock and Roll Over, Love Gun, and Dynasty. So, and they're on their way. So I won't be able to hold those to open because that's something I've wanted for years, and they'll probably come the next 2 days, and we aren't recording again for another couple of weeks. But I'll show them next time on the next episode. But I can't wait to get those. And he's also got Kiss.
Oh, hey, hold on. My mail just came, and there's a record in the mail. Hold on.
Go get it.
I'm dead serious.
Right there.
Okay. A damn microwave.
What the hell?
Okay, Andrew.
Get a vacuum cleaner?
No, this is a record.
That's a record?
Yeah, damn nice one.
What the hell? I was shocked when I saw this.
I can't wait to see what this is, man.
It's all covered in snow and shit. Who packages records like this?
I've not seen one like that.
Watch it be a blow-up doll and not a record. I forgot I ordered that.
I don't need that.
That's yeah.
What's that? All right, who's punking me? Who's punking me?
This is the best opening sequence ever.
I don't know, but you can't get an album in that box, can you?
I don't know.
I don't think you can.
Oh, what the fuck?
Uh-oh. Got another box in it.
I have packing peanuts in here.
Now, what's the packing peanut going to do to protect an album?
Oh my God! It's still...
This is classic, man.
Who'd you get this from?
I got it on eBay. How am I going to open this?
This is one anal dude right here that sent that. In a good way. Anal in a good way.
I tell you what, man. At least it's not going to get damaged unless somebody dropped a car on it.
Yeah.
The anticipation is killing.
What did he charge you for the shipping? Oh, while he's unpacking that, so Jason, I know you saw the posting of the guy that got the greatest Kiss, and you wanted the best.
Yes.
For $30 and $40, and the person that he bought it from shipped it to him in Europe, 2-day FedEx for $20. Now I'm sorry. Put the numbers together. That's stolen records and stolen shipping.
Has to be.
So whoever the hell wants me to ship them a record in Europe for $20 in 2 days, remember that. Not everybody is not, or some people are stealing the postage.
Good for that guy, though, man.
No, good for him. Yeah, I don't blame him. Hell, I don't know if I would have pulled the trigger. I'd have figured this dude's ripping me off, you know? So, yeah. Now, and you know what? I bet you when he opens it, I bet it's got the insert sheet in it.
I bet,
Yeah?
I bet you anything.
What you got there, man?
What is it there, bedhead? It's destroyed!
All right. Does that thing have, like, wear on the top of it?
Yes.
And packed it up like that?
Camel label destroyer.
Cool. Cool.
All of that for a camel label destroyer. You would think you'd have,
In a poor sleeve.
in a porcelain.
The sleeve didn't look like that when I, on the eBay auction. So,
Wow. Which way's your jacket opening up?
The top
side?
The top.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, folks, you just witnessed the most epic,
Anticlimactic.
anticlimactic album opening reveal ever.
I mean, I'm looking at the eBay auction right now, and I didn't pay all. The record was $20.
yeah.
The sleeve didn't look like that. It didn't have that piece of wear on top of the Kiss logo in the auction.
Yeah.
So anyway,
shipping. What do you charge you for shipping?
$3.99.
There you go. He made it up. All right, he made up the difference. All right. So let's talk about Destroyer.
Let's talk about Destroyer.
Andrew?
What the fuck? I can't believe I just went through for that. All right, let's talk about Destroyer. So this is I had a nice clean copy of Destroyer. Look at that. That's
all
nice.
right.
It's real nice. So talk about Destroyer. Kiss's fourth studio album, released March 15th, 1976. This was, I would say this is the first studio album to have what we call inserts. Obviously, predating this was Kiss Alive. That came with the booklet, but even Kiss Alive didn't have any cool sleeves on it. So this has a really cool sleeve on it, and this is the first one that tells you to join the Kiss Army. So, and it tells you to send $5. So you'll see that up on the screen here. So it says "Shout It Out Loud" right on there. And then it has the lyric to Detroit Rock City on the back or the front, whatever way you want to look at it, because they were really trying to push Detroit Rock City. So I'm assuming that's why they printed the lyrics right on this. But anyway, so there's several pressings of this album. This one right here is the original Blue Camel pressing, and I'll let Tom fill us in.
Blue Camel? What's a Blue Camel?
Blue Bogart. Blue Bogart. I'm a little eclectic because all that what I just had to do.
You'll be all right, man. You'll be all right.
All right. So we got the Blue Bogart label.
All right.
And Andrew has invented a new label.
Yeah, we have the Blue Bogart label. Then we have my really. I'm gonna Frankenstein this into something else. Then we have the Camel label, which is what this one, the one I just got, where it's fucked up. Then we have the Filmworks label.
Yep.
Which
Filmworks 1.
Which is, I was going to let you go into the difference between Filmworks.
Okay.
He's trying not to steal your thunder, Tom.
Steal your thunder. You got a book coming out,
like James Campion does to me in
the
interview.
Yeah.
All right, so we got that, and then we get into the 1985, polygram reissue. I don't have an 82, 83 yet.
83, 84.
83, 84. 83, 84, sorry about that. But, my 85 is really, really nice. And now, did the 85, did that come with the Shout Out Loud sleeve? No, right?
No.
Yeah,
no.
That's what I thought. So I have the regular sleeves right there. So after
does
that,
the 83, 84?
No.
No.
Yeah,
I don't think. I don't know. I have to look through it and see. I don't think so.
I didn't think so either. So then after that, we got the 2014, which is a really great representation of the original Bogart label. And then actually, this came out before the 2014. But we got Destroyer Resurrected as well.
Correct.
So, all right. Tom, what did I miss?
Whole bunch.
All right. Well, Jason, I know we both have got promotional copies here.
Yep.
So let's kind of compare them.
Sure.
Because I'm sure they're going to compare up the same way. So I have never seen a promotional copy of Destroyer that didn't have this. I call it a double cut corner. What would you call that, Jason?
That's the only thing, a notched
Yeah,
cut.
yeah, notch cut, well, however, because you know it's got the cut, but it's also got a little offset cut to it.
Correct. Mine has the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. What color font do you have on that promotional blue label? Mine's silver.
Mine is silver.
Have you ever seen a black one? Because I haven't. I haven't.
Not.
I have never seen. And if somebody's got one, I would love to see it.
Please post
I've never seen a Kiss promotional label, blue label that's got a black font. Okay.
Just to point out, my promo has never seen a needle.
What, you don't like it or something? You don't want to play it?
No, I don't want to play it. I'll play it 2014. So.
Which way is your jacket open? Top, side?
I put my sleeves on like this. Oh no, not that.
Yeah.
Opens on the side.
There you go. Okay. People in general, and hey, Andrew, this kind of answers your question too, as to what's the front and the back of this sleeve. That's the front, because all the first pressings open on the side. So basically, when you open them up or went to pull them out, the record fell out. Right. So later on, at some point, but still in some of the blue labels, I believe are this way. They'll open on the top.
Right.
But so that's the promotional copy. All right, and again, these are the blue label number 3. These have got the Sunset Boulevard address at the bottom of them.
Let me see which mine is. Let me see.
Well, it would have to be that.
It has to be.
I've never seen one that had a mislabel on it, an earlier label.
Well, let me look.
So then, as far as the first pressings, you've got the silver font, but there's also a black font that came out at the same time.
Ooh.
Right? I see some people that say these black fonts are the very first pressing. I don't buy it. I mean, I think they came out at the same time as the silver fonts. But think about it. The silver font is all you ever see on the promo copies. That has to be the first records off the press.
Yeah, mine's silver.
So, but I certainly consider this black font a first pressing. Now, I got to tell you, these apparently the black fonts weren't released in my area of the country. Because I remember seeing these a few years later and thinking, man, these things are counterfeits or something. And I don't like the appearance of them. But they certainly were. And, I'm not sure right off the top of my head where these were pressed at. It's not as easy to track down as once they start putting the plant numbers on them. So, all right. So that takes us through the blue labels on them. All right. Next, we have the camel label like Andrew just got.
I don't have one.
This will have the inner sleeve also, but it should open on the top. I've never really compared too many of these. Andrew, your camel.
Yeah.
How does it say the side? Does it say side 1 and 2 or A and B, or does it have Roman numerals? Mine's got Roman numerals on it.
Well, let me look.
I'm just kind of curious.
Let's look.
I don't have one. Need to buy one.
Yeah, you need to get one. See, that's what I say. These things, it's the last one you ever stumble on is camel labels. Since it was such a
stereo side 1, stereo side 2, Roman numerals.
Roman, okay, that's what mine is. Roman numerals also.
And it's got black font and yada yada.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Next we go to Filmworks Label 1. So these would have pressed the bejesus out of this thing.
All right. So when you say Filmworks Label 1, what am I looking for on there?
You're looking for not saying polygram anywhere on it.
Okay, right. All right. So I got that.
Now, again, we kind of touched on this a little bit, and it's a very difficult pressing to even say it's actually a pressing. But, it does look like there were some records pressed in '82 that would have this regular Filmworks 1 label on it, but it also has a printing plant number on the back. My only problem with that is I'm not sure how to determine that those don't get Frankensteined. Okay. Right. But I'm convinced they do exist like that. But anyway, so there we go. Filmworks 1. So also at the same time, we've got RCA Record Club. And, it's a regular Filmworks label, but you'll see the RCA number on it, the license number. That license number also appears on the back cover. So you'll know if you got Frankenstein because it should have that print on it.
Right. You got Columbia House?
I do, but hang on.
Sorry.
I got another RCA.
My apologies.
The one with the love gun.
What?
No way.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah. There's enough of them out there you can count it as a variant. Again, this is going to have the RCA stuff in the corner of it.
You learn something new.
There is a copy of the first record that's also got the Love Gun labels on it.
No way.
Yeah, but it's definitely. So next we have the Columbia Record Club edition.
Okay.
And what you'll see on that, take it out of the sleeve. The back will have CRC.
There it is.
All right.
I've seen those a lot, actually. I've seen those a lot.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. No label markings on it though.
There's no label markings at all.
No. I mean, no Columbia Record Club. I mean, there's the label. It's just a regular Filmworks label.
I'll be dang.
These things to me are probably Frankenstein more often than anything else.
Yeah.
Which I guess it doesn't really matter. I mean, other than the fact I don't particularly like Record Club edition.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. All right. Next up, we've got the Filmworks Label 2, the 8384s. It's going to have the polygram label on it. And mine's this. I need to upgrade this. It's a little difficult to see it. The 501's down in the corner, but mine's got a little rip on it.
I can see it. Oh, it does have a little rip. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I got to update my camel as well.
Yep. Well, see, I got to be careful about updating this one. And this is typically the inner sleeve that comes in the 8384s.
Gotcha.
Not always, but typically. All right. Let's see. All right. Filmworks Label 3. Here's an 85 pressing. Again, looks like almost the same label as 8384, except for it's a little washed out. This is going to have a UPC on the back cover. I guess I'll slide that out real quick.
Yeah, I got that on mine too.
Yeah. UPC up there. Okay.
Mine still got the shrink. Mine still got the shrink on it.
So does mine, man. So does mine.
Oh, we're like vinyl bros, bro.
Yeah.
Oh,
all right.
Bros.
Hey, I'll tell you a funny shrink wrap story real quick. This my first Destroyer pressing, I got it. It was still sealed. And then back when I still lived at home, I left it upstairs in my living room, and my niece got to it and opened it, or else it still would have been sealed to this day. Yeah.
Boo!
I know.
Which edition was it?
What's that?
Which edition was it?
It was this one, the blue label.
How would you have known it was blue label if you didn't open it? There's no way to tell if it's a blue, a camel, or a Filmworks without opening it.
Well, it ended up being a blue label. I didn't.
There you go. So she did you a favor.
She did. Well, maybe not.
No,
I
did,
didn't know.
Man.
I didn't know. I kind of
somebody puts that up for sale, and they tell you it's an original blue label and it's sealed. I would ask them, how in the hell do you know? There ain't no way to tell.
That's true.
All right. As far as chronologically, U.S. Next thing is going to be Destroyer Resurrected. It's going to have, I guess, man, you know what? I'm probably going to have to do a special label for it in the book.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to be exactly like the other. Although, that's the only pressing of it. So, as far as
there are two.
Of Destroyer. Oh, the glitch. Yeah.
There's the glitch, yeah. So,
I don't know which one that is.
Well, I've identified the Love Gun 2014 reissue, but it's got to be in the Matrix. I think it is.
Yeah, but
the only way that you can tell.
Yeah, but we're talking about Destroyer Resurrected. Knowing the Love Gun doesn't help me.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's how you identify. The only way you can identify the 2014 Love Gun glitch is to open it and look at the Matrix.
Yeah.
So I would assume I assume that's the same way.
You know what they say about people that assume, Felix.
Yeah.
Make an ass of Andrew.
I made an ass of myself opening up that record.
No, you did, man. That was awesome. All right. So back to the U.S. pressings. The last one is the 2014 Blue Label 4. I don't need to open that up, I don't think, to show you the blue label. But anyway, so that's that. As far as I know, U.S. not the promo only, just the release. That's all I know of. So if anybody else has something different, that's great. You guys got anything different?
No.
U.S.
Yeah,
right.
and
what, I guess, Jason, you want to show the promo release for it?
Oh, I mean, I can. This also came from that same.
Oh, but that's nice then.
It is nice.
Oh, yeah.
And it is
And
never.
I think most people, as you're starting out, would consider this thing a holy grail. And it kind of changes. It changes to, it's kind of like an essential one that you should have. If you're a collector, if you call yourself a Kiss vinyl collector, you need to have this. They're available.
We do use this label in some of our identification. I had Danny put our logo over the top of this, and
I want one of those.
Yeah.
You know what?
Are they relatively expensive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, to get one in good shape, it is. Yeah. I mean, you tell me, Jason. I mean, I actually gave quite a bit for this one. I gave $175 for this one because I had traded away my copy to a guy, and this one came up, and it was pretty nice shape, So I mean, it looks like it's never been played.
Yeah, mine's definitely never been played.
I would never, ever, ever pay a dime over what I paid for it. I think I paid top dollar for it. And really, I just wanted to fill the hole in my collection. You probably get one for, if you're patient, probably $125.
That's what I would think.
That's fine. But my next big vinyl purchase is going to be that double platinum from you, Tom.
Well, we need to talk about that. I mean, I'm not trying to sidestep you on that thing. I mean, I don't mind selling it to you.
Yeah.
Don't want to do it on here though.
Oh no, of course not.
What I always liked about this label, it's a cool label anyway, but this whole thing is redrawn. Everything from the waist down is redrawn on these guys. I mean, if you got it in front of you, I mean, Jason, what do you think about that? What do you think about old Gene's boots there?
I don't know.
He's not walking on those boots. There's no way. They're just teeth. I mean, that's all they are.
Oh, yeah. That is absolutely redrawn.
Yeah, and look how skinny Paul's legs are on that.
That's interesting.
But, yeah. There's always cool stuff like that. But anyway, to me, that if you're going to call yourself a Kiss vinyl collector, you better have that record.
I could be a Kiss vinyl collector.
I'm not a Kiss vinyl collector?
You're getting there, man.
You're not a Kiss vinyl collector.
You're getting there.
We love
you, man. What you guys got as far as foreign countries?
I don't have anything, and I'll tell you why I don't have anything. It was released everywhere. If I could pick one, I would like to get a Japanese one, but Destroyer was released everywhere.
So all right. So Andrew, you don't have any foreign stuff. I
got a couple of things.
All right.
Nothing too super special. Just German, West German.
Cool.
Obviously Japanese, I believe. Knowing now from the great book, Kiss in Japan, this is not the very first pressing, because there would be a marking over this right here telling what contents came with it. It would be the poster and all the jazz. So this is the second pressing.
Yeah, would that really be a second pressing, or
that's a good question.
Yeah, because I mean the code number is the same, right?
Just the OBI is different, right?
The OBI and the contents.
You know what? Okay, so that brings up an interesting question. I don't like to sit here and speculate on this stuff, but again, I'm in the midst of the book here, so. But I've got two numbers listed here for 1976.
Then that's.
Is that a gatefold you got there?
It is a gatefold. All of these versions.
Number on yours? What's the number on yours? Mine is.
What's the gatefold? Let me see the gatefold.
Mine's SWX6268. Yeah, which I've got that as the first one, but maybe it didn't. Oh, so mine. There you go.
Yes, that is the first pressing right there. That tells you that it comes with a poster and whatever other goodies it came.
Oh, no poster in mine.
This one after the posters were gone, they redid the OBI and put this one on here without that detail on it, and I only know this from his book.
And that's still though 6.2. Yeah, I've got the book, but I haven't read it yet.
Yeah.
So I hate
the gatefold, Andrew.
Cool. Look, I'm waiting to read that book, but I'm really weird as I'm doing my books. I don't like to look at nobody's books because then it's like I'm cheating or something, you know.
Right.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, there's multiples of this red Obi. I've got to get that settled out for myself.
Yeah.
But we've also got, and I think we're doing everybody a disservice, and I mean all three of us, as we've been discussing these pressings for these different shows. Because we don't just have the Japanese pressing. I mean, there's generally 4 pressings minimum.
Absolutely. For
each of these records, okay? So with the Japanese, and again, we know we got the red one from 76, and I don't want to get in because I got 3 different ones listed here, and I think I've got an error there. But in the 80, there would be the yellow Obi edition. And that code number is 228-4. In 84, they repressed everything. We've got the Crazy Collection Obi. And then in 98, we've got the aqua blue vinyl set from the originals box set. So always going to be multiples. Oh, and that one, yeah, I don't have that one listed yet. So
the 200 gram from what is this? 2007. 2007.
Okay, yeah.
200 grams.
And there was the aqua. Yeah.
That one.
Box set. I actually keep mine separate from the box set just because I think it's rough on that box. But
we've talked about all these records and we haven't been pulling that out.
Yeah, and I've been meaning to. So we're going to do a better job with that as we go forward. All right, so I've got a couple of different Canadians.
What's all that about?
A boot. But it's not a boot. It's a real.
It's not a boot.
Canada's got a gatefold.
That's right. Okay. That's the first gatefold I ever saw, and it'll lead into the ultimate version that I'm going to show you guys in just a little bit. So.
Oh, your other one wasn't the ultimate one?
No, this is the ultimate one. Oh, what did you think? My 200 gram was the ultimate one?
Yeah.
I thought
no. No.
All right.
No.
Then we've got an 84 repressing from Canada, the Priceless Collection.
That's right.
Yeah, I had this one years ago and got rid of it, and man, it took me a while to get that back.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting one. Then, as far as German, got the EMI.
Oh yeah, those are cool.
I used to hate this with a passion. Thought they were the ugliest thing in the world, but you know what? You change your mind as you go through this stuff. And so I actually, wanted to start getting these. There's 4 different ones with the rounded logo.
Right.
Got Alive, Dressed to Kill, Destroyer, and Hotter Than Hell. And out of those, the Hotter Than Hell is the toughest one to find.
Right.
All right. Then I've got this is not an atypical condition for this. You just take what you can get sometimes. Mexican.
Nice.
With a blue gamma label.
Blue gamma.
So it's actually in decent shape there. Let me check this. Can't remember. Yeah, this one opens on the side. Yeah, see, sometimes you take what you can get,
Yeah, you have to sometimes.
Yeah, unfortunately. Let's see. And then nothing special about this one. It's a Swedish destroyer. And this one's got the Fillmore's label.
Now, our Swedish viewers are going to be insulted by that.
Why?
Nothing special about this. It's just Swedish.
There's nothing special about
There's
Sweden.
nothing in it. There's nothing in it, man.
I'm
no cut to all our friends in Sweden. Because I mean, well, you know what? See, I lied about that. So it's got the inner sleeve is a little bit thinner and still opens on the side. So yeah, there's something there.
Look at
That's
that.
a blue label. This would be something. Okay, like I don't have 1,500 Kiss records like some people do.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
1,500,
and hey, wish I did. If you got 1,500, you pretty much have got to have everything.
That's right.
I wouldn't go out of my way to search this one out, but it showed up on a friend's trade list, and yeah, man, I'm all about that. I'll trade a record right now for that. So it's interesting to get that. But other than that, I normally try to get stuff that's like weird, unique or whatever to that country.
I'm the same way.
Yeah. And then this isn't vinyl, but it's kind of vinyl related. I've got a promotional flat for Destroyer. This is different than most of them, man. This thing is really thin. It's not like the same material as the album cover. I got that from my friend Tommy. I'm not going to butcher his last name, but anyway. So that's all I've got as far as LPs. What about you guys?
Well, other than this ultimate version,
we'll show the ultimate version, man.
All right, guys. This is a one of a kind. Did
you make it?
He did.
No, I did not make it. This is one of a kind. 1978 purchased. Very, 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 very first record that got me into Kiss, and I still have it.
Awesome.
Look, my mom wrote my name on it right here in blue. I don't know if you can see it.
I swear to God, I almost pulled something that trashed out when you guys were opening up your records. I was going, and I got this today.
This is a Pac-Man sticker that I got at a grocery store.
Yeah.
There's a Miss Pac-Man on the back. Jason's album.
Dude.
Look, I tried to sell it at a yard sale one time. I wrote "for sale" on it. For sale. So the first time I ever saw a Canadian version of the album, I was freaked out because it had a gatefold and I didn't understand why. So I made my own gatefold.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and I had a Love Gun record that didn't have a sleeve, so I taped this inner sleeve in here to make room to hold my Love Gun record at the time. Pulled these out of magazines, but I do have the sleeve, which is roached as well. But folks, this is the record that got me into Kiss. I don't know how I managed to keep it all of these years.
It looks like it was ran over.
Too. Kept it in such great shape.
But I have it. So this is my ultimate Kiss collectible. I'll never get rid of this. And since it's tradition, here's a long box sealed 8-track.
Nice.
Thought I'd share that. So that's all I've got.
All right. Well, we got 45s now.
We got a whole bunch of 45s.
It's there's a bunch. I mean, this is mostly American stuff. Yeah.
All right, so I got some 45s.
All right, we'll talk about your 45s and then I'll talk about mine.
All right, because I know you probably got like 45 feet of 45s.
No, I've got about 3 feet of 45s. Okay,
45 feet of 45s. We love you, Tom.
That's the way it is, man. That's the way it is.
All right, so I got 2 singles. I got Side A, Detroit Rock City. Side B, Beth. It's the Camel label. And then I also have Side A, Beth. Side B, Detroit Rock City. Also on a Camel label.
Well, that's got to be a misprint, right?
It's not a misprint. For all you Kiss aficionados out there, you know that they were trying to push Detroit Rock City. But let me tell you something. Pull out your Casablanca single box set. Listen to this version of Detroit Rock City. It sucks. It takes
unique.
It takes everything cool out of the song. So it.
I enjoy listening to it because it's different.
Well, it's different, but like if I heard that first, I'd be like, "What?" Anyway, but everybody knows that they turned over and they started playing Beth, so it was re-released with Beth on the A side and Detroit Rock City on the B side. I just like this because this is Kiss-tory right here. This is why Destroyer was a success. This is how Kiss got their first People's Choice Award and only People's Choice Award. I thought it was cool, so I had to get this. I'm not really a huge 45 collector. I have some, but
I'm the same way.
Yeah, but this is cool, so I got this. It's cool.
All right. Well, good. All right, let's talk about some other ones. So we've got 3 singles off of Destroyer. The first release was Shouted Out Loud and Sweet Pain. Okay. And so, of course, we've got, and that was released on the blue label. All right. There's a promo copy of it. This particular copy got a time of 2 minutes and 38 seconds. Okay. And here's another promo of it that's got a running time of 2 minutes and 50 seconds. And there's about $200 difference in these 2 records. This one with the 250 time frame, that's probably one of the 3 toughest Kiss singles from the U.S. to buy.
That's interesting.
Of any kind. Okay. It's always one of the last ones that anybody gets. So one way that you can tell on it is there's a lot more print on it. And this also, the 250 version, says it's the LP version cold ending. Okay. That cold ending is never mentioned on that 238. So that's a tough one. That's going to cost you. Okay. So then I've got a stock copy of.
Is the content actually different? Does it actually have
it's difference in the time? I mean, what is that? 12 seconds or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure they fade out.
Does it
I'm sure they fade out one and
cold. Well, the cold ending is it just shuts right off.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
People will tell you that that's what DJs preferred. Some DJs preferred the cold ending. Some preferred it to fade out because some like to talk over it and some didn't.
Wait a minute. All right, so I'm looking up my singles box set right now. Wait a minute. I want to hear.
I can tell you that those times on that single box set don't line up with any of the times on the other singles.
I'm not.
I don't know. I don't know
care
what's
about the times right now. I just want to hear this cold ending. Is what I'm.
You don't have it.
Oh.
You don't have it. It's. Okay. I just told you, man. That's a $200 and something record. You're not going to have it. I mean, you may have it, but you're welcome to play it. But it just
in my. Yeah, but in my mind, the cold ending is the version that is actually on the record, and then right because the song ends on the record as a cold ending.
It says right there, LP version,
right.
Cold ending.
Right. So the other version,
not the single cut,
they faded out.
Okay. All right, I understand now.
Right.
I understand.
Yeah. So that's if you ever find that, buy that, man. It's a tough one to get.
Got it. Noted. On the same page.
Yeah. Now we go to the stock version of it, and this one's got a jukebox strip in it.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
Again, whenever I get these, I don't buy them because that jukebox strip. I think that's an authentic strip, but man, you can make them all day.
Right.
Let's see. Why do I have another one here? Must be some kind of a. Yeah, I can tell right by looking at it without even putting my calipers on it. I got one that's got a bigger title than the other one. So there you go. Hey man,
minutia.
We got that's what people are about in this group. All right, now we've got the Filmworks version of it. That's tougher to find. That's actually they don't go for more money, but much more rare than the blue label. All right. Then let's see. I've got and again we'll have Hint come on with this stuff, but I do have a Japanese, copy of that. I think there's a couple of different versions of this. This is a Filmworks label one. I like this. This is an EMI single with the rounded logo.
I always like that artwork.
Blue label. Yeah, I do too. I've actually done some stuff with that for myself, but anyway, nobody cares about that. And again, for people that care, here's the one off the singles box that they made for
this. Made it for
this. I'll sell it to you for $10,000. You want it, Andrew?
That's our T-shirt. They made this on the back.
Yeah.
From this.
I did. Yeah, we did a T-shirt for that.
We are going to make T-shirts, right?
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm gonna make a bunch of T-shirts and take them on the cruise. I've already made my mind up. I'm gonna take a bag of them up on the deck when they do the acoustic set. I am. I'm gonna sling them all over the place.
That's awesome, man.
I am, man. I am. I'm gonna get them made down in Miami. Anyway. All right, back to what we're doing. So now we go to the very first U.S. picture sleeve. You know, so we've got a nice Flaming Youth. This is a promotional copy. Yeah, I don't know if all the promo copies came with the sleeves or not. This one had it. I got this early in my collecting, so I assume it came with it.
Right.
So when you guys listened to Flaming Youth as kids, did you guys know it was Flaming Youth Sets the World on Fire? Did you guys know that?
Do you know what I did?
I thought it said Blaming You.
Skip.
You skipped over that song?
I hate that song.
I love that song.
What?
I hate that song.
That's it. I quit. I can't work
Y'all
with this guy.
Y'all go ahead and quit. I don't like it. Okay.
I thought it said Blaming You, and I was like, Blaming You?
No.
Even though it said
Flaming You.
I didn't have that. I had a cassette, and the ink on the front of the cassette had worn off, and I didn't have the cover of it, so I just was like, I thought it was Blaming You.
All right.
What did I know? I was a kid.
Exactly. All right. So anyway, Flaming Youth got a Thunder, and this one's got it now. You know that's a real box strip.
Oh yeah, it's definitely.
It's typed. Do you remember sitting there and typing all that? And then of course we've got that from the box set, and I probably mentioned this, but you know when they did the box sets, by the time they got to me, the only things that were out of bounds were this and Creatures of the Night. They said those had to be in there. I don't know why, but they did. Okay, now. Yeah. So now Detroit Rock City, Beth Detroit Rock City, and as Andrew's already pointed out, you know, started out with the A side being Detroit Rock City. So of course you can find a promotional copy, and this is unusual in the Kiss catalog. Okay. This is a stereo promo. So you got Detroit Rock City on one side, and you got Beth on the other, and A and B. Okay. And so obviously, if you got that, you've also got the Beth on the A side promo.
Oh, pull it up, move it up.
Why am I looking at your finger?
I was reading the other part, and then Detroit Rock City on the other side, B side. But again, this is a promo, so there's two promos.
We've got Tom's cuticle.
Oh! I know why I had this. Okay, so I've got two copies of this, and the reason why I do, where's that one at? Now this is kind of the way I stand on signed stuff. So you probably can't see this too well. Anyway.
There you go.
Yeah, Gene has supposedly signed this, and I think he did. But, you know, I got this copy from Gary Kahn, old friend of mine, and, you know, he told me when I got it from him, he said, you know, it says Gene's signature. It kind of looks like it, but I don't know. He said, I got it from this girl, said she got it signed. So, bottom line, you know, I wouldn't say it is, but I think it is.
Yeah, it probably is.
You know, it's kind of cool. Signed the weird thing was, though, he signed the best side. That's why I'm thinking it wasn't him, maybe. Okay, now, so now we've got, that's two promotional copies. Now we've got the Beth and Beth promo. All right. Now, these, for a fact, went out in some of the Kiss Army kits.
Oh, cool.
Okay. But they also got sent to radio stations. A lot of people say they just went out in the Army kits. Nothing just went out in the Army kits. But this is a mono and stereo version. All right, so we got that. Okay, now we get to the standard stock copy. And again, these are on camel labels. I've seen a US on a blue label, and that reminds me I need to go back to the other one here in a second. Here's a small print variant. I don't know how much y'all love those. All right.
Get your caliper out.
And there's a large print variant.
Oh.
And now we skip on to, let's see, to the Filmworks versions. All right. Again, not that many copies of these. I got two versions here for some reason. I'm not sure why. There's some good reason, so it must be a variation of it. Yep, I can see it. Okay. So if you look on Detroit Rock City here, you'll see the text that starts with stereo and works its way down, and it's all one continuous thing of text to the title.
See that?
But if you look on the Detroit Rock City side, there's a gap in there. So there you go. You don't need a caliper for that. Y'all good about that? And then I got this because just because I thought it was interesting. There's your blue, but it's Canadian. So there you go. Let me back. Well, here, let me finish with Detroit Rock City, and then I need to go back to one. Okay, now got this. This is who the hell was that?
Mighty Boss Tones.
There you go. The green vinyl version. You can find promotional copies of these, although they don't seem. I don't have one. They don't seem to go that much. They just go stamped. Nothing on the label. And then we've got the 2 singles, and this was what threw everybody when they announced the singles box set and the number of singles. Everybody going, well, no, there's not that many. But they did the A and B side for both of them. I can't remember if I mentioned this on air with this or not, but there actually was a record store day project that was put together, and within about 2 days of being pressed, that was coming out before the singles box set. And it was a box set of just the singles from Destroyer, the U.S. singles. So there would have been 4 singles in there.
That's cool.
So we found another set of four sleeves for these, which was actually tough on Beth and Detroit Rock City. There's not that many picture sleeves out there in the world of Detroit Rock City as the A side, but we found them and it was ready to go. And you know what? Got beat out in the overall scheme of things. So there it went. Okay, so I wanted to jump back to Flaming Youth. Okay, so that's on a camel label. All right. I've heard rumors for years of this on a blue label, and you know what? I ain't buying it. Now, I'm not saying there isn't one out there or something that snuck through, but you just don't. I've never seen one. I think people get it confused with the Japanese blue label version of it. Okay. There is, and if somebody's got one, I would love for somebody to sell it to me or trade it to me. There is a Flaming Youth that's on a Filmworks label. It's tough. It's rare. You can't hardly find the thing. I have seen it. So it exists. So yeah, no blue label, but there is a Filmworks label.
So meaning they repressed Flaming Youth in 77.
Yeah. Yeah. But you just don't ever see that thing. So
it's interesting.
So I think that's it for my singles.
That's a lot of singles. That's the most.
That is a lot of singles. Okay. Let me jump back real quick because I know that we do. We don't have every bit of vinyl. We keep saying that, but we just don't. But here's some stuff that I've documented that is out there if you're looking for this stuff. All right. So Argentina, they've got there's copies of Destroyer. Australia, and I'm not going to get into all the different ones here. Because again, this stuff's going in a book. There are 5 different versions of Destroyer on LP from Australia. I had no clue until I got the list from guys. We've got the 2 from Canada. I'm sure there's more. We've got some guys working on Canadian lists for me. You can get it from France. There's at least 3 different versions from Germany besides that rounded logo. 2 other ones. Japan, we talked about all the versions from there. Mexico, I showed you the blue gamma label, but there's also a Filmworks reissue from 80. New Zealand, there's blue label from there. Russia, we've got a white label one. Yes, we talked about this. They weren't authorized to counterfeit.
Right.
Not that they're not in as collectibles as anything else. South Africa. I'm pretty sure you can find a copy with a Love Gun label on it. I'm not sure that was the original release of it, though. Let's see. I'll tell you what I do need help from anybody out there, and I'll be putting a posting up on the site. I need somebody that's got records from the UK that can help with the listings for the book. There's tons of different ones, and I just don't have a good handle on it. Venezuela's got a Destroyer with a camel label. I think they've also got a blue label one. Let's see, I got one more sheet here. See, Jason, you didn't have your the Netherlands picture disc of that, did you? You were talking.
I don't have it
pictures,
yet.
so,
It's on.
Yeah.
I should have it soon.
Yeah, so we got that, and then Destroyer Resurrected that we talked about. So that's kind of it for the vinyl part, as far as I know. What about you guys?
I mean, yeah, the reason why I don't really get into collecting some records from other countries because Destroyer was literally printed everywhere.
Yeah,
I would lose my mind. I'm sure there's someone out there that collects Destroyers just like you collect Killers, and Julian is collecting all the Alives.
That's why I stayed away from Destroyer like that.
Because you'd be going nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I've got some more stuff up here though. Let's see what I got.
Oh, I see it's printer's proof back there. See it?
Yeah.
All right, you ready to start sniping all these off here, Andrew, so nobody else can buy them? So
damn right.
So we got we've got a July 22nd, 1976 Circus magazine. Who is that? Who is that? Anybody know who that is?
It's Beck.
I don't know. It might. Yeah. It is. It is not Beck. It's
Jeff Beck.
Jeff Beck.
Yeah, it can't be Beck. Okay, so page 37, you got Ace in his nice purple suit, and this is the first of, I'm going to assume, 4 issues of the Kiss tapes. Okay, just talking to the different members of the band, and I've got 2 of these, two of the issues that have that in here. I don't have all 4 of them.
Oh.
But I think we can assume that on the rest. So the next one that I've got is part 3, Paul Stanley profiled. And this is a good one. This is from Circus Magazine from August 1976. And here's where as I go back in these magazines, I'm going, man, when you try to research something like hard goods, everybody keeps wanting to say that was not the first vinyl released by Kiss. And, I showed you guys a magazine from it, one of these magazines, and it was dated like a month or so after, like in March. And I'm like, oh, must not be then. So here we've got in August. Now, when was Destroyer released?
March 15th.
76?
March 15th, 76.
This is August 76. And we've got, we've got a really nice Destroyer tour ad. What's the first date on that? That's July. So yeah, it could be then.
Well, remember they went to Germany before they toured here in the U.S. So I've
got one over here.
I would definitely agree that they didn't start really pumping Destroyer or the tour until then.
All right, here on page 10, here is a review of Destroyer, and it says Kiss Destroyed. So yeah, it was not a good review of the album at all. And then on page 40, page 40, we got Stanley Struts. All right, so there we go with that. Actually, I thought that was something different. So yeah, that wasn't the big deal I thought it was. Okay.
Yeah, same with the record I got. It wasn't a big deal. I thought it was.
Yeah. All right, so now we got an April 76 Cream. And I got to tell you again, I'm putting myself back into 1976, 16-year-old Tom. I don't give a shit about these guys. Why they got them on the cover of this magazine? They've been gone forever. In my mind, as a 16-year-old, I can give a damn about the Beatles.
You shut your mouth.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, man. I'm just telling you. So then this is, I didn't see this. I don't know what this is about. A little ad. Got Kiss there. There's nothing there, but just saying.
Bizarre.
Kiss.
Looks like it's probably a misprinted Dress to Kill picture, if I would have to.
I'm going to say it's probably not. I don't know that when I saw this today, I'm going, man, I can't remember the last time I saw that ad. I don't know that I really paid attention to it.
That's awesome.
May not have been in too many magazines. So they just basically took the blacked out cover from the ad and put it on that little commercial thing they had there. All right. Now there's a damn band. Forget the Beatles.
Well, listen. Hold on. We're gonna get off on a tangent here, and I don't even care, but it has to be asked. Tom, or Jason, who's the greatest band of all time?
Led Zeppelin.
No.
Yeah.
Jason.
Beatles.
You're right. It's the Beatles.
Did you listen to that shit they did when they first came out?
I mean,
I want to hold your hand.
Yeah, that's the Beatles I love.
Dude, first of all, and the greatest thing about the Beatles is Ringo is playing these simple things on drums, and he's laughing at everybody going, look at how simple I'm making this, and I'm the highest paid drummer of all time. Listen, Kiss is my favorite, Led Zeppelin's my favorite, but the Beatles, hands down, the best band of all time. Without question.
Beatles, Elvis Presley, same thing to me. You know, dudes that were gone. And again, you guys got the benefit of time expired.
That's right.
Okay. I mean, the Beatles were done with, and when I was 16, 17 years old, Elvis Presley is a big fat ass country singer. That's what he was. You know?
The king of pop and cola.
I remember the night the man died. You know why? Because
you were at a Kiss concert and they were talking about it.
And was going to get freaking slammed because he was scheduled to be in there for a concert. Not that night, but it was coming up. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So,
singing country.
Yeah. So back to May 1976.
Damn.
And now we have the story exposed. All right. So there you go. Yeah, I'll just piss Andrew off. Look at him over there, man. Talk about the Beatles.
Right. We'll just send
He's gonna edit me out. I won't even appear.
They'll just be all blurred out the next time.
Yeah. He's gonna edit me.
Tom's not here today.
Well, do you know what's funny about why I always argue that the Beatles are the best? It's because every time music gets bad, what happens? They just re-release the Beatle music again, just to remind people. It's like when Rihanna and Beyonce and they're making all that crap. They're like, we're gonna release the Beatles in mono. We're gonna release the Beatles. They keep pushing it out.
I just can't. I just can't. Overlook the fact that if there wasn't a Beatles, there likely would be a Kiss.
No, I don't disagree with you, but I'm sorry, I don't buy them for what everybody. It's just me. It's just me. Just me.
I love Zeppelin too, but they sure did plagiarize a lot of shit.
That's okay. I don't care. I don't care. Made it sound better.
He's absolutely right. He is.
That's true.
I've heard some of the stuff that they ripped off, and it sucked. And then Led Zeppelin, I was like, "This sounds much better." Why?
That's right. That's right. That's right. All right, June 76. Got another copy of the ad. If anybody's looking for that kind of stuff, I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I got some nice ads showing up here in a minute. I mean, some nice ones.
Let's get some nice ads showing up here.
I mean, nice. And then we've got the July 76 cream. That's just
I got that one.
Yeah, that's iconic. So, okay. So now we got a. And man, I'm gonna tell you when I show you this, I'm gonna ask y'all what y'all's opinion of this kind of stuff is. So here we got a May 8th, 1976 Sounds magazine. Nice Kiss ad. That's nice, man. Now, my question to y'all is, this thing is all in one piece. How much do you reckon an article from 1976 about AC/DC is worth? Buddy, they didn't break here till 78. I mean,
I don't like AC/DC.
They just didn't.
That's true.
I mean, I wonder sometimes on this stuff, like, all I care about in this is that Kiss ad,
Right.
Should I cut it up? I don't know.
No.
I don't. Dude, I do it with Billboard magazines all the time.
Never cut
it up. Got a ton of them back there. How do I display that? I can't put that in a frame.
Some of the stuff you just can't display.
Yeah, I know, man, but you should be able to somehow. Okay. So now we got
they made a shirt. It's a shirt now.
We got a July 4th, 1976 New York Times. And what's this for? Because we got a Jethro Tull and Rock now. We got Kiss.
Is that the Roosevelt Stadium? The Roosevelt Stadium.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and you really want to find that newspaper because that's in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is the New York Times?
New York Times.
Wow.
July 4th, 1976.
Hold on. I have to.
You're screwed. You're screwed.
You're screwed.
Because of the date. July 4th, 1976. Y'all know what that was?
Bicentennial.
Exactly. Exactly. So people kept those, but they ain't getting rid of them.
Wow.
Anyway, so I got that.
How did you get that?
I found it.
I traded with a guy some stuff.
I found it.
He got you're full of shit.
I found 2 of them.
No,
you're full of shit.
I'm not full of shit.
The full newspaper. And if you do and you don't buy it right this second, you're a fool.
Okay. You're bidding on 1976 July 4th, the New York Times Late City Edition original newspaper. This is not a reprint. Here's what it includes. The Declaration of Independence, special issue of the magazine, advertising supplement. New York Times.
Not a magazine.
No. I'm just saying special issue of the magazine. That's just the section. The newspaper shows overall wear, heavy yellowing. I found it.
I've never found it. How much is it?
Guess.
$3.
I don't know, man. I'm telling you, either buy it or I'm going to buy it.
It's
or he's going to buy it.
$179.
Damn.
No, I ain't buying it for
And
that.
then there's
But some people will buy it for that ad.
And then there's another one here for $149.
See what I'm saying?
And
they don't even know the Kiss ads in there.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with Kiss. It's bicentennial.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And I don't even know if the Kiss ad is in there because the focus is the bicentennial features.
Yeah, you need the movie section, and the other one is if I didn't have this, I probably would give that for it.
Message them, Andrew, and ask if it has the movie section included.
You need page. Let's see. Oh, people are gonna be so mad when they see this because it's gonna be gone by then. Shit, I can't tell.
Andrew's gonna be opening it in the next episode. So.
Yeah, I can't tell what page this is. No kidding. I see page 27 and 28 here, but the page that's connected to it, that's got the Kiss movie thing, it may be page 3 and 4. Damn, got James Taylor ad on there.
What does it say?
But then the big one.
Let me see the top of the
big
page
one
of the Kiss ad.
Is page. Yeah, man. Section D, Section 2, page 2 for that. Section 2 or D section. Why does it say? It says 2 and D at the top. But then on this other side of it, it says Section 2. I don't know. But anyway, cool as hell. Hey, man, this guy that I got this from, he got an entire pressing of, was it the Village Voice that all the Kiss ads were in?
Yeah.
Got them all. And they look mint.
Wow.
He bought the full press run from this guy.
You know what I have?
What?
I have the Rolling Stone with the Peter Criss advertisement in it.
That's cool. Okay, all right. So let's go. Let's talk about the cover of Destroyer Resurrected. So, do you guys see where people say that that's not the original art that Kelly did back in the day? The first one that was supposed to be the cover.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, that's why I say it, because they say because it's got. Some people say it because they say it's got 1975 on it. And why would he put that on there and some other stuff? And well, let me try to dig this thing out here. I don't even know where it's at.
Talking about this?
Yeah. Okay, all right. So show you.
This is not his original sketch. It's not.
It's not his original. But when do you think it came from?
Well,
because I'll show you this, and I showed it earlier.
That's the original.
It's a little hard to see on it, I know, but I got this in 2009, and he signed it, and this is the exact artwork that's on the cover of Resurrected. So it existed at least 5 years before they did Resurrected.
Right.
He didn't just do it for the record.
No, I know he didn't just do it for the record.
Well, no, a lot of people say that. A lot of people say.
I mean, these are the same people that say that they pulled a single out of the box set and says that they made mine for that. It's the same kind of people.
Yeah. That's I guess. But I guess, you know, if you wanted something to compare it to, you could try to compare it to this.
You son of a
wow.
Dang it. You suck.
But you know what? That thing sucks. There's no way to display that, man. It's sitting on its box on top of my damn pinball machine. You know, because
you need a bigger room, Tom.
I thought about that thing's huge. It's like 6 foot tall. I've thought about cutting it. cutting them. I have not cut it.
I have not cut it.
You lost your mind.
Then it's a mate to this one, you know. And see, here's the problem with these, okay, that I got this is from the box set. Look up there, man.
Aww.
Nothing the matter with that, but wouldn't that have been sweet if that was 2 separate sheets?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Cut it up.
I almost gave that to a guy. But I couldn't because of what was on the bottom. But he deserved to have the top part. But I can't do it. Anyway, I think that's all I got.
Well, hell, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's all I got.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Wipe your brow. That was a lot of stuff. Must be nice.
Well, I mean, now that we've talked about the album, let's talk about the book.
We've got a special treat for you this week on included in our Destroyer episode, where we're going to talk about all that vinyl. We are also going to talk with author James Campion, who has written, and Andrew will drop this in.
Thank you.
A fantastic book.
Hold on, I don't need to drop it in. I'm just kidding.
Oh, right. So it's called Shout It Out Loud: The Story of Kiss's Destroyer and the Making of American Icon. And so we just want to, take some time here to talk with James about his book and how it came to be and why he chose Destroyer to concentrate on and just go from there and discuss it. So James, just to get started, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your history with being a Kiss fan and all of that jazz. So let's hear it.
Yeah, I guess it started in my 8th grade, 75 into 76. I'm 53 now. So I remember getting Kiss Alive for my 8th grade graduation. I saw some kid carrying it under his arm. I had to have it. And then once I did, I got infused into that whole Kiss thing. And right after that, or right before that, Destroyer came out. But I didn't know about it, so I went to the record store and saw it, scapped it up with that beautiful Ken Kelly painting, and put it on, the whole thing, and was just absolutely blown away. From the opening all the way through the beginning of Detroit Rock City, through the choirs and the God of Thunders and the Beth, everything. So it always stood with me. And years later, I started to realize that the gentleman who produced it, Bob Ezrin, had produced almost everything I loved. I loved Peter Gabriel's first record, The Wall, Pink Floyd, and I had been listening to Alice Cooper prior to Kiss for years. So I was into the whole theatrical thing and the soundscapes. So it really just totally took over my imagination. It sparked me to get into other music. And so years later, I was approached by Continuum Publishing. Are you guys familiar with the 33 and a Third series? It's a series of small books. They're like glorified essays that want authors to write about the best albums ever. And you get your usual suspects, Pet Sounds, Sgt. Pepper's, right. Exile on Main Street. But I noticed that they had one for Highway to Hell, AC/DC, and a Van Halen album, so they didn't have any Kiss albums. So I contacted them, and I said, I'd like to do one. They said, well, which one? And it just popped in my head, how about Destroyer? And they said, oh, interesting. And they said, write us a treatise, a little treatment. So I did. I sent it in, and they said, great. So I started working on it. So to get more information about the record, the making of the record, I started calling all the principals. I got a hold of Corky Stasiak, who's the assistant engineer, Jay Messina, who's the lead engineer, and then eventually through Alice Cooper, because I had done several interviews with him. I'm a music journalist. I'm a contributing editor for the Aquarian Weekly here in New Jersey and New York. I've written for the Huffington Post. And so I've done a ton of interviews with different rock stars and everything. And Alice is one guy they'd always send me to. Hey, Alice loved talking to you, so go back to him. So through Alice, I got Bob, and I started compiling all these interviews and all this information. And finally, I realized this is more than a glorified essay, more than a 70-page book. And as you see, it's 300+ pages. These guys just kept feeding me with new information. And because my imagination had been fused all those years ago, I just kept asking all the questions we all want to know. And eventually it formed itself into a book. I found Backbeat Books, my publisher, who do all kinds of music publishing, which is great. And they backed me. We got the rights to the lyrics and connections to all other people. And I was able to put the book together. So it was a labor of love for years before I got a publisher. And I'm glad I did it because I'm getting so much great feedback from fans, not only about Destroyer, but about other Kiss albums and how Destroyer, stacks up. And it's really created this cool intellectual argument out on cyberspace and other places. I got a book signing and a presentation tonight here in New Jersey. And all these Kiss fans want to come and they want to argue about what's better and and what period's better. So, if you guys read the book, I cover the period of the 70s, how listening to vinyl, which is your purview on this podcast, how different it was then because you were tethered to your room with your headphones. There was none of this driving in your car, jogging down the road, kind of a mobile way to listen to music. So you had your imagination. And I love the idea of side one. And then, like Bob Ezrin said, it's like chapters. It's at the end, and now you flip it some thought and just jump into side two. So that's how, artists used to create them, that vinyl presentation. Right. So it was fascinating to learn about, or relearn in many ways, about all that kind of stuff.
Well, it was, Destroyer was my, I'm a little bit younger. I just turned 40 this past year, but Destroyer was the first record that I ever got to. And I clearly remember, I was fascinated with seeing Kiss on television when I was very, very young, 3 or 4 years old. And because of that, all my parents knew to do, I had a little Mickey Mouse record player, I'm very little in the late 70s. Mm-hmm. And they buy me Destroyer on vinyl, not for the music so much, but so I have a picture of them to look at. Well, the first thing I do is go in my room at 4 years old and put Destroyer on my little Mickey Mouse record player. And the first thing that I ever heard of Kiss is that, recording at the beginning of so that as a small child just blew me away. And I was, of course, it's so thematic all the way through it. Mm-hmm. I was so sucked in that, I was like, if I've got to have more of this. So that's what I would do. I begged for more Kiss records, and every so often my parents would go to the local Ben Franklin or whatever 5 and dime store, and they would buy me another record, and so Destroyer. In fact, when we go on and do the regular version of our episode here and talk about the Destroyer vinyl, I actually have a neat surprise that I'm going to show everybody. So
we don't even know what it is yet. He won't tell us.
I won't even tell him. So, but
I will say this, if I may, Jason and everybody. When I learned, and I don't know how far you guys got into the book, if you started reading it, but when I started to work on this, now it's going to be 4 years ago, because it was 3 years to research and write it, and then a year of editing and ramping it up, cover, and all the rights to source material and photographs. I was never disappointed in any of my journey. Every piece of imagination, every oral sonic landscape that was created by Bob and the guys in the band just fed back. I mean, all those stories I think are worthy of knowing. I'm glad they're out there because I was never disappointed. It was like, oh, that's all they did to get the little kid voices or the backwards tracks or the opening sequence alone. It could be its own book. Seriously, it's amazing. So the stories really do fit the imagination of that record.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, so speaking of those interviews and stuff like that, what were some of your favorites? Can you give us some highlights of speaking to Corky and Jay and
Sure.
Bob and all those guys. So.
Yeah, Bob was my Wizard of Oz. I
Sure.
tell everybody that. It took me about 16 months to finally get him to sit down and talk to me. But that was obviously fascinating. Bob's one of my favorite. And now, I guess we can call each other friends, or at least, correspondence buddies.
Sure.
I hear from him from time to time, and we talk about different things. I just saw Roger Waters' film about the wall, and I emailed him about it, and he's like, it's too, the experience for him was so harrowing working on that record. But he loved the experience of working on Destroyer and couldn't wait to talk about it once I got him down. My two favorite stories, I think, or chapters in the book were my discussions with Ken Kelly, who painted it. I love that story of Dennis Wallach trying to get Frank Frazetta, who was the king of comic artists at the time. He did Vampirella, Conan the Barbarian, those great Tarzan covers for the paperbacks.
Molly
Remember
Hatchet.
those? Right?
Molly Hatchet, yeah.
Hatchet. And he just wanted too much money, and he wanted the full rights of the thing. So Dennis wanders out onto Fifth Avenue, and he's really despondent. He looks over, and he sees this cover of Creepy magazine. Remember Creepy and Eerie? Yeah. And he just loved the painting of a robot with the eyes. Anyway, so then Ken talking about how he went from $75 a cover to having a chance to really make Kiss icons, because I argue in the book that's a huge part with the music and Ezrin. And
Absolutely.
I love that chapter. And I also love talking to Scott Shannon, who is a great radio DJ nationally, but in New York here especially, and how he broke Beth when all the elements were against him, financially, economically. Gene and Paul didn't want it on the record, much less be an A side. They wanted Detroit Rock City to be big. It wasn't doing anything. And I love that story, that real grassroots story.
Right.
None of this Spotify stuff or marketing or finding. I see Adam's Andrew.
Adam's the young guy. Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's saying that Andrew.
Andrew,
yeah, sorry. That was my bad. I let him down. I let Jason down.
And I went right to it. So.
You did. No, that Andrew let, because all the young musicians that I talk to, they love the fact that they can get their music out there. But I mean, there's no way that they can really control their voice or how they present things. So anyway, getting back to Beth, those were my two favorite things to talk. And obviously, I love talking to Corky and Jay about how things were made. And Bob is just a genius. I knew it going in, and spending 5 minutes with him, you could tell the guy really knew what he was doing.
Yeah, that's
well. So I guess my first question for you and James, we're both Jersey boys. I was born and raised in Secaucus, New Jersey. So,
I know well.
So, but my question: so you had such a great experience doing this. Could there be another Kiss album book in you? Would you ever want to maybe approach Eddie Kramer about how we crafted Kiss Alive, or maybe talk to someone else who produced another Kiss album?
There's no immediate plans, but I'll say this is the most books I've ever sold. I mean, Backbin's been great. The fans are amazing. So I would be crazy to ignore it. It was a lot of fun. I don't love those records as much as Destroyer. I don't think they have as much of the drama behind it, because you remember Kiss was at the very edge of not being Kiss. I mean, Casablanca was going under, Aucoin was way in debt, they were suing each other, there was a lot of stuff going on, and then of course Bob adds some great drama, the Ace situation with Dick Wagner coming in, and the fact that this, I think, is the beginning of that conglomerate Kiss thing that transitions from the old leather blue-black hair days. But to answer your question, Andrew, I would consider it. Right now I'm working on a book about Warren Zevon, who was also a favorite of mine during the period, and I was amazed to find out there were no books on Warren Zevon. So working on that now, but there's no immediate plans, but I have gotten that question quite a bit, and there is a clamor for everybody should do this, do a different album or a different period in Kiss's career. And I know Julian's working on the book for The Elder, which is fantastic.
And he did solo albums. So.
And the solo albums, which is a great book. And I just did a 5,000-word piece for a German magazine called Rocks, and they are on The Elder. So I was talking to Julian about that. And there is a groundswell for people to do it. And that's why I did the book, if I may. I wanted to start an intellectual discussion to put Kiss on a loftier pedestal. And I talked about this with Eddie Trunk on his Sirius XM show, about how there's too much dismissal of Kiss among rock critics and people who considered serious music.
Agreed.
So I wanted to start that, and apparently I have. Because if you're asking me that question, then those books need to be written.
Well, you know, as long as it, you know, if you put it together as well as this book is put together and presented in the way that it's presented, you know, Kiss fans are going to eat it up. And you know, we need somebody like yourself, like Julian's, that are willing to put that kind of time and effort and money and energy into, you know, pulling all of that information together in one place. You know, Tom's working on a book right now. So, you know, we'll eat that stuff up. So, and, you know, it's presented so well that, you know, I don't see why you know, wouldn't give it at least one more record another shot. So,
you know, the great thing about this book is, you know, I knew it was coming out. I saw some posts about it on the FAQ, just the general Kiss site, so I knew it was coming out. And actually, the first time that we were all emailing back and forth to get you on the show, James, I was actually in Vintage Vinyl in Fords, New Jersey, and it was right on display. And I was kind of like, man, maybe I should get this. And then my phone went off, and you know, we were going to have you on the show, so I'm like, oh, I definitely need to you know, look into this book. And if I might have a humorous take on the book, what's the cover made out of? Because I just thought
I was going to ask the same thing. This is the coolest feeling color.
It's so cool because, like, you know, a lot of the books, they got those really cheesy paper covers, and this one, when I took it out of the box, that's the first thing I was like, dang, I was like, it's kind of cool. You don't see that.
Well, thanks. Yeah. Well, you got me. Thanks to Bernadette and Wes and everybody who worked on the cover. You know, when we did that, we were working on thinking about what to do for a cover. They kept coming back to me saying, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I want to put the famous Ken Kelly on there." Sure. And they're like, "Well, the rights and Gene and and Gene." That came up because apparently every Kiss book that's ever been published through Backbeat, Gene Simmons calls their offices. So that the first time I had a meeting with them, they're like, we expect the Simmons call in about 15, 20 days. Yeah. But I don't know if it's come yet, but it may have. They might have told me. But what I did was I said, you have to put that on the cover. They're like, there's no way. So when I was going through all the pictures and I was working with Lydia Chris and Bob Gruen, who's in the book, the brilliant, famous photographer.
Two friends of mine. I know them from the Starfile photo days.
Right, yes, and Finn Costello, and so I'm getting all these really brilliant artists and absorbing them into the book, and I keep coming back to the Ken Kelly painting. So they said, well, you need some pictures of Alice Cooper and something else. So I was going on, what was I going on? One of those open sites for photographs.
Like Getty Images or something?
Getty, thank you. So I saw a drawing, a black and white drawing of the Ken Kelly pen. So I said, well, how come this is available to the press but not to us? So they said, well, it's in black and white. So I said, why don't you do like a Warholian thing like he did with Elvis or Marilyn? And they tried that, but they couldn't. And then I lost touch with them for a couple of months. They go back and do what they do. And I got an email, the cover's done. I'm like, the cover's done. What did we decide? And I was holding my breath. And when I opened it, I was so pleased that they were able to figure some way out. So props to Backbeat Books. But thank you very much. When I first got it, too, I thought it was kind of neat. I don't know what kind of sheen they put on it.
Yeah,
but
that sheen is amazing, man.
This is the first book I've had in a while. Usually, all the, like, I know Julian's book, and there's a great Van Halen book that just came out, too. I just got the ebooks. I got ebooks. I mean, I'm a huge technology guy. I mean, I know Jason and Tom always give me flack for that. I mean, I don't even have a record player. I mean, I have
only physical
turntable.
I have a great record collection. I don't even have a turntable. So, but I'm really glad I got the physical copy of this book because it was an experience. I was able to sit on the plane when I was in Vegas a couple weeks ago, and I was able to sit down and kind of just thumb through it. And I thought this was really, really, really cool.
Yeah, it's presented excellently.
Yeah, I would like to sign anybody's book if you're ever back in Jersey. In fact, we're planning, and I don't want to blurt this out because it's not official, but we're planning, Vintage Vinyl is planning a 40th anniversary of Destroyer, and I'm trying to get Jay to come with me, and he wants to do it, Jay Messina, but he's producing something now, so he won't be able to tell me until like February 28th or something. So I'm hoping we'll still be able to do it, but I love Vintage Vinyl, and I'm glad that the book was there. And
they're one of my Is it Vintage Vinyl New Jersey? They're one of my accounts at my job. So.
Oh, great. Well, if you guys ever come back to Jersey, let me know. We'll get a beer, a cup of coffee, and I'll sign the book. But thank you all for getting it. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Hey, James, let me jump in here. These guys are taking all the airtime.
Yeah, come on, Tom.
Hey, so you and I, we're closer in age than these guys are. I think I'm about 2 or 3 years older than you. So, you know, for me, Destroyer was really my first exposure to Kiss. I'm sitting here in Lexington, Kentucky. They got no airplay for the first 4 albums really here. And, you know, I agree with you. So much of it was the visual part of it, you know. It's what drugged me in as much as the sound. Actually, my very first exposure to Kiss, man, I remember this vividly, and you guys can laugh at me if you want. I used to be in the orchestra in high school, and there was a girl that sat in front of me. I don't know, James, do you remember Nick shirts from the 70s?
No,
real high-end silk shirts.
Oh, okay.
They had all these graphics on them, and this girl sat in front of me and had that Kiss logo spray painted on the back of that thing. And I'm going, well, that's kind of weird. Okay. Cause I've heard of that. But anyway, I borrowed Destroyer from a friend and just wore the thing out. Didn't get to see any of the concerts at the time. I actually missed the Paul Lynde show because again, in high school, I was playing football at the time. The show was on a Friday.
I jump in? I actually had to cover a high school football game on a Friday night, and I missed it too. I was writing for my school newspaper. Wow. I was so disappointed. No VCRs then, no DVRs.
Right.
So, go ahead, please.
So you and I both missed a seminal moment in Kiss history, you know.
It sure was.
But you know, still got drug into it, and because I came into it then, you know, I was really surprised at the backlash that some of the older fans had for that album because I just didn't get it. Because again, being in the orchestra, you know, being a rock fan in general, and loving stuff that Ezrin had done before. I mean, I was eating that album up. But I guess my question to you on this is, you know, one of the things that amazes me so much about that album is what Bob Ezrin was able to pull out of Peter Criss. I mean, we never heard that stuff before or after. I don't think.
No.
You know, and what really blows my mind on this is, you know, and I've been thinking about this over the last few days, trying to figure out how did he do this? Because here's a guy that revolts pretty much against everything. He doesn't like authority, but he drove him like crazy because it's obvious that he drove those drum tracks into him. Did Bob mention anything about that? How they managed to hook like that?
Yeah, sure did. And Corky says that he had never worked with Bob. He worked with Bob before Destroyer and after, but he had never used click track. But Bob said that Peter was so loose and so all over the place, and some of these songs had different time signatures, like 7/4. So they created this thing called the Cat Box, and they put like a microphone in it, and Bob would sit in front of him with headphones and just hit it, and you know, they make Peter go with it. Now, to Peter's credit, like all this stuff, you're right. I was just listening before doing this. I was just listening to Destroyer yesterday, the resurrected version, because it's bassier. Yeah, it's bassier, and it's got more drum. The drums are more up front, and obviously, to me, Detroit Rock City is Peter's tour de force, and I know Andrew plays the drums in in a Kiss cover band, right? Am I correct?
You are.
You are. So he would be able to speak better this to me, but my brother's a drummer and I kind of dabble. So I get how really cool the drumming is on that and how it really drives the song. But little things he's doing, like the double time on King of the Nighttime World, and that booming stuff, the offbeats on God of Thunder, and even what he's doing on Sweet Pain, which is a real fun, and even Shout It Out Loud, 2 funky songs. Yeah, Bob was in his face, and both of them were jacked up on cocaine and screaming at each other.
That's where I was kind of going.
He was using it. And I know Peter says in his memoirs that he wanted to just punch Bob in the face and that he was hit the drums harder. But Bob got great performances out of Peter, to the point where a lot of people felt he got session drummers in there because Bob was not beyond bringing session people in for Alice Cooper or other things. Right. So it is a great point, Tom. That is as good, and Andrew could speak to this, as good at drumming as I've ever heard Peter be. Even though I'm a big fan of the drums and the drum sounds of Dress to Kill, and his drum solo in Kiss Alive is one of my favorite things ever on the drums. I think Destroyer really was a triumph for him because he had to be reined in and had to play the songs controlled, and that was not Peter's thing.
Yeah, and yet they were able to create that rapport. I could just visualize the two of them in there. And I can also, for some reason, I can just envision Gene and Paul sticking their head around the corner going, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, they had to, they kicked those guys out. Yeah, they kicked those guys out of there. They had to kick them out. And Corky said they had to keep them out because they were making fun. They were really challenging Peter as well. Yeah. And there's a great story where Peter was recording the audio, the vocals in Studio C of the record plant in New York for Beth, and he was a nervous wreck. You know, he'd never done a ballad. None of those guys did. Right. And Gene and Paul making noises in the background. They had to kick him out, and Bob really drew that out of him. And listen, that's Peter's album, man. I mean, he's never had, in my mind, he's never had a more upfront expression than on Destroyer, with the drums and, of course, with Beth.
I agree. Yeah, I agree too. It's funny, you know, I hadn't planned to talk about this or bring this up, but just in the past couple of days, there's this new app that's come out, Jam It or something like that. But anyway, they've licensed some songs, some master recordings where you can separate tracks and make your own mixes and all that stuff. And a lot of Kiss fans, you know, have ripped the rock band tracks out. But anyway, they have God of Thunder on there. And so you can pull the vocal track out of it, and they've removed all of Ezrin's, all the kids, all of the effects in God of Thunder. So when you're listening to, I don't know if these two guys I sent it to, but I don't know if you've heard it yet. But at the very end of God of Thunder, it almost clearly, Gene is, I don't know, he's growling all of this.
Yes, he does.
He's growling all this gibberish at the end. But when you're listening to this track of just his vocal, it almost sounds like he's saying, "Sick Pete, Ezrin, Sick Pete." You've got to listen to it if you haven't heard it. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever heard. So, it sounds like they're laughing, you know, like it's a big joke or whatever. So it's interesting that you mentioned that they had to kick those guys out of there.
Right.
Because they were, you know.
Well, remember, people years ago thought that it sounds like Sick Pete, but years ago people thought it was like he's saying Satan. He's saying Satan.
It's not.
It's not Satan. You guys
it's almost clear as day that he's saying Sick Pete, Ezra, Sick Pete. You know?
Right.
So anyway, you know, an interesting.
No, that's great. That's great. I'm sorry I didn't put it in the book.
Well, you know, who knew? You know,
that's so cool, man. Yeah, I mean, all those vocal stuff, the stuff in the background, I love that. Ezra always put that stuff in. It was a big soup for him. It's a creative soup. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff.
Sure is.
Let's see. What else? You got any other questions?
I always have this question only because, you know, I'm a real big I'm a bootleg collector. Did you unearth any recordings? Were you privy to hearing something that maybe the general public hasn't heard just because you were conducting interviews with people that made this album?
Great question, and the answer is no. I'll tell you why. Bob destroyed Jay. I know Jay and Bob destroyed everything. And when Bob went back to listen to the basic tracks for Resurrected in 2011, I think it's come out in 2012.
Yep.
He said that that was it. There was no extra stuff outside. He was amazed they still had that original solo that he put in there. And I still have my doubts that's Ace. It sounds like another solo that Wagner did. No one's ever really qualified that. They say this is an original solo, but that doesn't really sound like Ace. I don't know what you guys think. But anyway, Bob said he didn't know. He said it was just sitting there, so he put it in. But yeah, they destroyed all that other stuff. In fact, Ezrin, Messina, and Stasiak have zero memory of None of Your Business. The None of Your Business
Really?
And that's a fully recorded, produced piece.
Completely.
Bob's like, I think maybe we did that. I could see. No, he was like, I have zero memory of that. And it makes perfect sense because it reminds me of the first track on $1 Billion Babies, Hello Hooray, which was written as a folk song, and Bob turned it into this massive thing. Same thing with, not that None of Your Businesses, but it's sort of a plotting bluesy rocker, and it's not really good, but all the demos on YouTube are the only ones that exist. There's nothing else.
That's bizarre that he got those masters out, and that is nowhere on them.
Nowhere.
I don't understand. Where would that be? Why, would they have changed tapes or something?
And the reason why there's a big argument whether this was recorded in August and September, because there are interviews that point that way, and I addressed it in the book. But according to Corky Stasiak and the official records of the record plant, which is not many left because that place is gone.
Right.
Most of it, I think P. Diddy bought Studio C, which is like on the 10th floor or something now. I was in there. I took some photographs of it when I was working on the book. But what was my point? I had one. Oh, yeah.
The official records. Yeah.
Right. The official records basically say that it was January 4th to February 5th. That's it. Jay and Corky say, I remember specifically the setup in early January. Now, Bob's like, well, maybe we recorded a little bit at the Electric Lady. Maybe we did demos and we thought that was recording. So maybe they did None of Your Business there because they were trying to come up with a Peter vehicle. And Bob didn't really like a lot of the material. He wanted to rework it. So maybe they did it, and then we're like, this is crap, let's just move on. But none of those guys have really any memory of that, which I found fascinating.
And it's not like it's primitive. It's, if you listen to that demo,
it's production.
It's the full production. It has the whole treatment. The whole drum sound is the same and everything. So, someone would have had to have done a mix of it, and it's bizarre that they have zero memory or zero notation of that.
Right.
Is it really bizarre? Again, how much coke were they snorting? How long ago was this?
Yeah.
True.
I mean, seriously.
There's a timeline conflation between boot camp and recording. Bob said he ran tapes all the time, and Jay hung a microphone in the studio. But when they were doing the boot camp, they tried to record everything so they can correct it and say, you got to stop playing that part. You remember that part. So I'm not really sure if they consider that sessions, but according to Stasiak's records, which unfortunately were destroyed in Sandy, because he lives out in Long Island, I know.
No way.
And the only reason why most of his memorabilia was saved was Joan Jett, who lives down the block from Corky. Corky spends his his winters in Puerto Rico. And he wasn't back here. Already left already. I don't remember when Sandy was. It was in October, I think.
October of 2012.
Halloween.
Right.
October,
and he lost all the records for Destroyer. So I had talked to him before that, luckily. So my book is the last of the recorded, recorded, actual, somebody wrote down today, we put the bass on. It's gone. Yeah.
Wow. That's a sad story.
Way.
It is. Yeah.
Well, is there any, throughout your whole research of the whole book, was there any like super interesting tidbit that you uncovered that you were like, I mean, I know there were lots of them, but what was the most interesting thing that you were mind blown? I can't believe this,
Wow, that's a great question. Nobody's asked me that. The one that wasn't really mind blowing, but it was kind of neat to learn, were the two singers on Sweet Pain, and their names escape me now, but one of them was actually starring at the time in The Wiz. And the other one was a vocalist, a soul vocalist that worked with them. So that was kind of cool when I found those names out because no one's ever really mentioned it. And the other one, which was very interesting, and I haven't talked about this in any interviews, but I'll do it with you guys because I say to people, read the book. But
oh, absolutely, yeah.
No, but there are 4 and maybe 5 tracks that Wagner played on. One of them was pulled off, but we discovered, Bob and I was on the phone and he was playing, which was the coolest thing, sitting with Bob Ezrin and as he was playing tracks from Destroyer.
Wow.
And I kept saying to him, Dick Wagner says he played on God of Thunder. So I kept listening to it. And then I got a bootleg tape of them playing at Roosevelt Stadium where they do a version only about a couple of weeks after the record was mixed. And Ace is not even trying to play that solo. He's doing Ace, which is great. He's just doing his Ace thing. And I thought, you know what? So I went and called Dick back. And Dick was, all right, I'll tell you. He goes, I'm almost positive that's me on God of Thunder. Whoa. So I went back, and again, I called Bob. And Bob was nice enough to go, all right, that's it. Let's put it on. And he put it on. And he waited a few seconds. And he said to me, that's not unlike Ace. I could have got that out of him. But if Dick says he played on that, he played on that. So I find that fascinating because if you listen to that solo, it's so dissonant. It sounds a lot like his guitar stuff on $1 Billion Babies and Welcome to My Nightmare. And it's got this strange, he goes up octaves, a couple of octaves that Ace really never goes. Ace usually gets there, but Wagner did it almost like a classically, which he is, classically trained guitar player where he went down. So I found that little nugget a little mind-blowing.
Interesting.
So
you know,
I've never talked about that. It's in the book, but I've never talked about how
I got that. That's the headline of the episode. That's the headline. That's how people.
And what's interesting is that thing I was talking about that separates those tracks. It has the the lead guitar. Now there's this mix out there on YouTube of this with all of the effects stripped out of it.
I gotta listen to that.
You got to listen to it. And so people on FAQ are going nuts about how great Ace's solo is on that song and how buried it is in the original mix.
And it's not even
now
Ace.
You can hear all these nuances, and it might not even be Ace.
Right. Now, it's interesting because, as you guys know, I tried like hell. Maybe you don't know, but I tried like hell to get all the guys in KISS on the record.
Right.
I had interviewed Paul in 2006 for Live to Win for a cover piece for the Aquarian. I had been back and forth with Ace's people. I had met him years before for some other project. Peter lives right here in Jersey, but he was writing his memoir, right? And he wanted no part, which is odd because it's his story. And then I got to the point where I said, if I can't get all four, I get none. I'm going to get all the archive material when they were in their 20s, their memoirs, and try to piece it together with the memories of people who didn't have a stake in it, who weren't going to say, well, if I say this, Ace will get mad. Or I mean, those guys were very honest, brutally honest. And I'm glad I got Dick, who has since passed, Dick Wagner, and Kim Fowley, who was passed too. So both of those guys gave their last long-form interviews for my book. But I am interviewing Ace for this new record he's got coming out next week.
Cool.
So I'm going to ask him, and I'll email you guys, and you can mention it on the next episode or something, because it's not official, but it's the first time I heard that, because for years Dick was saying he's playing on Flaming Youth. I don't hear that. That sounds like Ace. And
I agree.
And Bob said that too. So
God of Thunder sounds like Ace to me too. I mean, those nuances in there definitely sound like Ace. But I mean, where there's smoke, there's probably fire.
Yeah,
there's something to that.
I just put it out there. But for Dick, and Dick is very humble, and he was almost reticent to say it. And I kept coming back to him because he mentions playing acoustic all the way through Beth. And if you listen to the original recording, you hear it only that thing at the end.
At the very end, yeah.
But in the Resurrected, it's throughout the whole song.
Right, it's there.
And it's beautiful. It really does add a nice sort of
really
Pink Floyd-y style to it, yeah.
It really does. So, well.
Did you guys like the book? Let me ask you. Did everybody hear
Yes.
How far did you get? You did.
I love stuff like this.
Did you have a favorite part you could share with me? Because I'd love to know while I got you.
Well, the ins and outs of the recording, like the technical stuff, since I'm a musician and all of that jazz, the technical stuff is always mind-blowing to me. So any part of a book that that focuses on that's what I love. And a lot of KISS fans couldn't care less about that stuff. They just want to know the end product, and that, or some kind of juicy story like Ace really didn't play on God of Thunder. But for me, I want to know the technical aspects of it, and I felt that stuff, the Corky stuff and the Jay Messina stuff was,
And ironically enough, one of my favorite parts in it was, and you mentioned it earlier, was Ken Kelly and his being able to be the artist for that, because he is such an iconic part of KISS's image between Destroyer and Love Gun, And I had not heard the story about the magazine that they had seen, but just thumbed through the book earlier this afternoon. I was sitting there going, "Oh, okay, that is interesting." He's a pretty humble guy.
Very humble guy. Yeah.
Very, very nice. I got an opportunity to meet him back in 2009. He shows up at some of these horror fests.
Right. Yeah, I met him at a horror convention in Jersey.
That's where I met him, up in Jersey back in 2009. And the guy's just very nice. I mean, he'll sit there and talk to you forever.
And I need to plug this in. Let me just show you. It's hanging right here by my records. This, and my wife, I don't know if you could see it, but my wife framed it. But Ken Kelly drew this and sent this to me. How cool is that, man?
That's cool.
That is very cool.
That was so cool of him. And it says at the bottom here, "Good luck with the book, Ken Kelly." That was worth, this is way before I got a publisher. So I said, you know what, to my wife, this is worth it.
That is amazing, man. That is so cool.
Makes me feel bad. He just signed this.
Oh, that's pretty cool, though, man. That's really cool. Well, spend 3 years writing a damn book.
There you go.
You're working on your book, man. Make sure you get tchotchkes when you write a book. That's for all you kids out there, you young authors. Make sure you get free swag with
That's
every
awesome.
book. Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
really cool. And what about you, Andrew? Is there something you liked about the book?
I mean, I like the stories about recording, about hearing Peter, like he couldn't stay in time, because that was always so interesting to me, because we've heard it in interviews, but it's always been just very minute. It's been glossed over. It says, Bob took us to camp, but to go in there and hear that they recorded a lot of things even before they actually sat down and did demos, or that they're putting the microphone in the box to keep Peter on time. Stuff like that is so interesting to me. And me, I'm a visual kid. I love the pictures of the book. I love looking at things that I've never seen. Pictures of the people that worked on the album. I love seeing shots of the Great Expectations photos.
Yeah,
I love seeing I love seeing pictures of the guys that I've only seen their names in print, like Corky and Bob and things like that. So me, I'm just a visual guy, and if I had to pick one favorite picture here, I'm going to show this one right here.
And how about Bob sending me that picture of his kids, the exact age they were when they recorded those voices? That was real neat of him to send that to me. And I had one of the graphic guys that I work with clean it up because that scratches on it. He was so happy for that.
That's my favorite picture in the book, because the Destroyer stage is kind of something that's like a myth to all Kiss fans, because there's not really a whole lot of video footage that exists. There's that Roosevelt Stadium show. There's an Anaheim Stadium show. There's a Houston show, but none of them really show the full...
You don't see the whole stage.
You never see it. You never see it. There's an alternate angle for one of the Anaheim shows that they did on the Destroyer tour where you see the whole stage, but it would be cool to kind of, see the whole thing, in action. Maybe one year on the Kiss Cruise, they'll recreate that. Who knows?
Yeah, that would be cool. And I just found out when I was writing that piece about music from the Elder, that Dennis Wallach, who worked on all the Kiss albums from Kiss Alive through to Crazy Crazy Night. So I went to, he lives in New York, salute, and we were talking one day. He gave me a nice poster and signed it. We went for coffee. And so I called him. I said, listen, can you give me any insight on the Elder, something I would know? And he goes, I built that door. That door is not the one that everybody keeps going to and taking photographs of. I built the thing. It was in my living room, and it's gone now. It deteriorated, and then Kiss recreated it, and they have it like at some traveling.
It's at the Kiss Monster Mini Golf.
Yeah.
I was just there.
In Vegas.
I was just there, and I put my hand. I was like, oh, I hear this.
Yeah. It's like, that's not the door. So it's great when you hear this kind of stuff. And the guys who worked on it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well,
I'm going to ask you. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you ever talk to him again, ask him who the hell's hand that is on that door.
Paul's.
It is for sure Paul's.
Absolutely Paul's.
Okay. All right.
Yes, for certain. They took a whole photograph of a 12-year-old boy from like the waist up, turning around, to give him one of these, like, what? Yeah. And the band hated it. They said, this is already too much of a departure from us. We don't want somebody who has nothing to do with the band on the cover. But they liked the idea of the door. So I guess Dennis had it designed with the rose thing, and it was awful. So he sat down and had it designed. And I'll send you guys a copy of there'll be a digital copy of that piece I wrote. And I'm sure it's going to be in Julianne's book and Tim McFate. But yeah, it was kind of cool to hear it from him. And he gets really obstinate about it. He's like, yeah, that's not the door. The door was in my studio, and it's gone now. It completely deteriorated. It was like this cheap thing that was supposed to be there for an afternoon. It wasn't supposed to last for decades so kids can stand in front of it, so it's cool.
That's funny.
That's cool.
Can I ask you guys something? Let me ask you guys something. I got two vinyls.
Oh, yeah, your vinyl.
Yeah. All right, first of all, I just want to show this to the Kiss fans. This is my original, the guy who wrote the Kiss Destroyer book. This is the exact, bought this in maybe June of 1976. Got a little wear and tear there. It's still got the original. I know you guys are very meticulous about this. I remember I described myself opening this up and smelling it and putting it on at the beginning of the book, and it's all part of it. And the original blue Casablanca, all beat up, and still plays pretty nice. I play my Resurrected here because the bass, I have a woofer in my living room, so I play. There's one thing I want to share with you guys, and you tell me what the heck this is. This is the best sounding Destroyer that I ever heard. It's a Japanese press. It's like 130 grams. You guys are 200 grams.
Oh, 200 grams.
You guys know about this?
Yeah, I don't have one. Wish I had one.
You're stealing on my thunder, James.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's what he was going to say.
You can cut this out now.
No, that's great. No, we're not cutting that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're not cutting that.
I bought this on a whim when I started working on the record because I was afraid to put my beat up because I was like you, Jason. I had this old close and play kind of record when I was 13.
Yeah.
No, I was playing Disney albums on it and then like Welcome to My Nightmare. But it was so beat up from the needle having like a quarter on it. Remember that, Tom?
I remember that. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying. Tom and I, we're bros. So I figured I needed a new good vinyl of it. And I grabbed this, and I played this for my neighbor the other day when he was asking me. I've never heard Destroyer. I'm like, all right, that's it. And I couldn't believe, I couldn't believe how good it sounded. It really amazing vinyl.
I will go out on a limb and say, because me and Tom, and we're slowly converting Andrew, are huge proponents of the 2014 180-gram reissues. Yeah. As far as the mastering and the pressing, the U.S. pressings of them, they're fantastically done.
Why doesn't he like them? Why doesn't he like them?
Well, Andrew just,
well, no, I just recently got into them. I've only collected vinyl.
Andrew likes stuff in here.
Well, that's true too. That's right. The pressings of the vinyl that I've collected were just the original pressings. I liked them because it was a snapshot in time.
Sure.
And then I felt like the reissues tainted that snapshot in time. And then I got one and I was like, okay, this is they're nice.
And you also have the travesty of the quality of the 80s reissues, which are which are collectible, but as far as sonically and how they were done and just everything was done on the cheap, so Kiss reissues is almost like a it leaves a bad taste in people's mouths they're there for the quality. The 2014s are so well done. That being said, if we're comparing, that version of Destroyer is probably the best pressing in the entire catalog, in my opinion.
It's stunning. I couldn't believe it. And I hadn't heard it in years since I played it like once or twice when I was working on the book. And then I just, I forgot about it. And then when someone asked me, they were like, they were not Kiss fans. So they read my book and they're like, want to hear the music, but I want to hear it on vinyl. So I was like, sit down, shut up. And I played it. Yeah. And I was getting more of a kick out of it because I realized, because I've been listening to the MP3s of Resurrected so you forget. And I know this is called Kiss My Wax. And I was so glad you guys had me on. Thank you. I've been carrying these. I'm like Andrew. I've been carrying records around even for decades when I had nothing to play them on. Yeah. My wife got me a turntable about like 8 years ago, and but I didn't matter because I collected it like art. I carried this when I had hardly anything. I had like 2 crates and a carton of milk and some bread, but I always had my records.
Your records, yeah, absolutely.
And so they mean more. It's like art. It's more than just playing it. But then once you start playing it again, you realize why you loved it in the first place.
That's right, Andrew. You've got to get a turntable.
All right. Well, I mean, here's the problem. Here's the problem. Like, all right. I have a sound bar in my house, so I gotta make sure that I can hook the record player up to a sound bar. So
yeah, because if you're just you were talking about you got to have USB and all this stuff. No, you see you're it's got to stay analog. Get on
Craigslist and find an old vintage system and just buy it.
That's what I
Where am I going to put it? I have
you'll find somewhere to put it.
I mean, you guys don't even know how much music gear I have. It's a lot of music.
Takes up this much room, man. That much room.
What have I started?
I know. No, we rag him all the time.
This been going on. Okay, I want to ask you before you guys let me go. I wanted to ask Andrew, a drumming question about what did you think of Bob's ideas of moving the drums for every song? Every song on Destroyer, the drums are not in the same place. And a lot of people is like, why would you do that?
But they're acoustic instruments.
They do, right?
They sound different on every song.
And what'd you think of that?
I like it a lot. I like it a lot because it's Destroyer's trying to tell a story. Because you listen to the next album, Rock and Roll Over, that's kind of a live album. And it was recorded at the Star Theater in Nanuet. But he was trying to tell a story with Destroyer. So, I mean, what do we do now when we're trying to tell a story? We change some filters in Pro Tools, or you use a different snare drum. What did Bob did? He moved the drums. So the drums on Do You Love Me, they don't sound like the drums in Detroit City or the drums on God of Thunder. It's probably the same drum set. I'm willing to bet it's the same drum set.
Right.
It is,
primitive manual Pro Tools.
Right.
I I thought it was great. I mean, Destroyer, I mean, I know this is the episode on Destroyer. Destroyer is not my favorite Kiss record. Rock and Roll Over is my favorite Kiss record. But and Destroyer was one of the last Kiss records I got, too, because most of the songs on there, they were on double platinum that I already had, or they were on, a compilation I had. But when I finally sat down and listened to Destroyer, I was like, okay, I can see how they went from Destroyer to thinking The Elder was a good idea.
Well, let me say this. Wait, well, let me just say this, because I know, again, before you guys let me go, I want to get your opinion on this. Sure. Is that, obviously, Destroyer doesn't have to be your favorite, but it's mine. It's the one that inspires me. I think it's better than any Kiss record. But you would all agree, am I right or wrong? And no one's ever disagreed with me of this. Destroyer doesn't sound like any other Kiss record, even The Elder.
Agreed.
It's almost like I've made this point in almost every interview. When you look at the Beatles, when they're getting to Sgt. Pepper's, because like this Dressed to Kill is the Sgt. Pepper's for Kiss, the experimental period. But you could see where the Beatles are going. You could see Rubber Soul and the Revolver there. You could see Bob Dylan's transition from acoustic, Troubadour to Blonde on Blonde. But we don't have any of that. It's like dun 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 Destroyer dun. And then back to something else. So what do you guys think?
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. And there were demos done like Jason, you might know this date better than I do. There's a demo on the box set called Don't You Hesitate, which sounded like that they were maybe going into a different direction with Destroyer than where it ended ultimately.
Sure, it was just an expansion of what was going on during Dressed to Kill. Basically.
And furthermore, there's a demo of Detroit Rock City that sounds nothing like how it ended up on the album. So you listen to that, and you listen to None of Your Business, you listen to Don't You Hesitate, and you're like, man, this could have been a different record than it ended up to be. And maybe people wanted Dressed to Kill Part 2. That's what they wanted, because that's what they were expecting from Kiss, but they got this thing that should have been I don't know. I always think that Destroyer should have been like a musical or something. Maybe that's why they played more than half the album in the symphony. So
instead of selling another 30,000 copies like Dressed to Kill, they sold over 1 million.
That's right.
There you go.
That's true. That's right. And we're still here talking about
ballad.
Thanks to Beth. So that's interesting.
True.
It's interesting. So
thank you guys. I appreciate it. Anything else? I'm enjoying the hell out of this.
Where do people go to get your book?
Yeah, let's do that.
Where to get your book?
They can get it anywhere. They can get it at Amazon. They can get it in Kindle, the Nook, Barnes & Noble, local bookstores, record stores, as Andrew saw.
iTunes store.
Yeah, sure. Anywhere. Sure. Why not? Groceries. Actually, it's in Walmart, so they sell and Target, so they sell, groceries there. They can also order from me directly, jamescampion.com. I sign, personally sign, so if you want to give it a gift, a cousin or a friend that you know is a big Kiss fan or a son, I get that a lot. Can you sign this to my son? I'll do it free shipping, and so you could get the book just about anywhere in any format. So.
All right.
Well, James, I enjoyed the hell out of this, man.
Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. Yeah.
And,
look forward to running across you on our paths.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll be watching. You guys do a fantastic job with this.
Well, thank you.
Best of luck.
It's brand new, and it was Andrew's idea, and it just.
Nice try. Remember, like you said, Jason, analog is short for analogous.
That's right.
And that means it's exactly the way the musicians wanted you to hear it.
That's right.
So it is Kiss My Wax. So
that's right.
Get it on vinyl, or there's no point in having it.
I agree totally. That's what I do for a living, by the way. I sell vinyl for a living.
There it is. Well, there you go. We have to keep in touch then, because I'm always in the market. I was listening to a really, really pure version of Animals by Pink Floyd this morning.
Yeah.
Just kind of getting going this way. It's like 0 degrees here in Jersey.
Same here.
It just completely different experience than listening to in my car like 3 weeks ago. Because I'm reading a book on Pink Floyd. I'm reviewing it for the Aquarian. So I've been going through the old stuff, and I figured let me throw this on, and completely a different experience.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome, man. All right. Well, we'd like to thank James Campion for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Andrew, Tom, Jason, thank you.
Pick up his book. It's fantastic. All right?
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Right.
All right, so we got Destroyer. We got the great Shout Out Loud book. What did we miss? There's so much out there on Destroyer that
I'm sure somebody will tell us.
I'm sure we missed something just because this album is everywhere.
Yeah.
But hope you enjoyed it. That's Kiss Destroyer.
We want to thank James Campion for spending some time with us and talking about his book. And, and from us three wackadoodles, thanks for tuning in.
Hey, and don't forget, we need to thank Andrew for opening that package at the beginning of the show.
Yeah. It was the greatest.
Yeah.
Absolutely greatest moment of the show. So.
Oh, man. That's the greatest opening. That's the greatest opening.
I can't, it's awesome. I can't, So, all right, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.
Well, yeah.
Woo!